morning. Welcome to another riveting episode of Bold TV. We are back for another riveting edition, and we are back with a new topic. And so, before we start this new topic, I'd like to say Bold TV is sponsored both by Bold Hub Network, and we come to you every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. And if you are interested in joining us, sponsoring us, or just being a resource person for us, you can either contact Afiod, me, Freki, Osaki, or Tomise.
It's good to be back here. My name is Afiod, medical laboratory scientist. I'm based in Uyo, member of Bold Hearts Network, and I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury.
My name is Freki Andrew Essien. I am the Executive Director of Faker Foundation, a member of Bold Hearts Initiative. I am based in Port Harcourt in Rivers State. I have spinal cord injury, and therefore I use a wheelchair from SCI. I'm public health professional, among other things, consultant, nonprofit leadership management, and a disability advocate. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Osaki Teresa George. I reside in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. A member of Bold Hearts Initiative, work with Fair Care Foundation, disability advocate, a mentor and a coach for person with disability. I also teach Microsoft applications. I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Christiana Ajayi. I'm a physiotherapist based in Ibadan. I'm a public health advocate and a community rehabilitator. So thank you. It's nice being on this program.
Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Oluwatomi Adeyefa, based in Abeokuta, Ogun State. I'm a visually impaired person. I'm a gender and disability rights advocate, a sexual and reproductive health campaigner. I also work with Angel Wings Global Freedom Foundation. Feels good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, let's get down to the program. So, Christiana, I would like you to please tell us what rehabilitation is.
Thank you. Rehabilitation is like restoring back someone to his normal position. Like maybe there's an injury or there's a disability, like trying to restore back the functional aspects of the person. So that's mostly what rehabilitation is, usually. Rehabilitation is for restoring back the function of the person, any lost function or anything. Rehabilitation is for that. So at the point of the beginning of that disability, when the disability is already noticed, you start rehabilitation immediately to restore back the function. That's why the rehabilitation is needed, because of that function. Like, okay, I'll give an example of, okay, for someone with a stroke disability now, that the person has lost a particular function of either like walking, writing, eating, and also immediately that thing happens, you try to restore back to normal function or near normal function. So we rehabilitate immediately disability is noticed.
As a person with disability, do you take rehabilitation, and what are the process of your rehabilitation? What was the process of your rehabilitation like?
Yes. Like the physiotherapist has rightly stated, rehabilitation is necessary for every type of disability. Rehabilitation is not disability specific, but it's necessary for every type of disability because it's required for reintegration to minimize the impact of disability and, to increase and help the person with disability become more independent. So for me, yes, earlier on, the first few years of my disability journey, I had to undergo physiotherapy because I am mobility impaired. I had to undergo physiotherapy. I had to, and over time, as different, complications came up, I had to also get help with adjusting to it. I had to, I had home visits from a physiotherapist, and then when I was more independent and go out, I was able to go attend my physical therapy, appointments. outside the home. And on my own too, I didn't have any formal rehabilitation because the physical therapy only takes care of, it's more of it's more medical than, routine, because it takes care of the pain, it takes care of ensuring that your muscles and joints don't get stiff for those with mobility impairment. But at the same time, I had to learn how to do other things differently, which is the core of rehabilitation, like transferring myself from one surface to another, from wheelchair to bed, bed to wheelchair, for those who have bathtubs, similar things. So, but for me, I had to learn some of those things on my own, get information online and all that, and learn how to, make that transition.
Just like we all are reintegrating, seeing you able to do some of those as probably hindered. And I cannot see with both eyes. Now, this is total. It's not like, okay, I could see from afar, because, especially because it's gone, every other part of it. So the rehabilitation for me didn't mean that I would learn to see with my eye, but it means that I would begin to learn to see with my ears, with my sense of touch, with my feet, with other parts of my body. I could begin to see with them. And it also involves me learning how to read and write again. Imagine as a blind person in my, late teenage years, and then I'm beginning to learn A, B, C, D as a blind person. So it's not the usual way that a sighted person will write the alphabet, write words, that I, as a blind person, would write words. And since I didn't know of all of that, it means that I had to start learning all of that. I have to start learning how to type without my eyes, learning how to go out without my eyes, learning how to go out even without a human guide, learning to be independent, moving around your room, cooking, doing house chores without all of those things. And so the rehabilitation for me was wholesome. It was awesome. Fortunately, I got to know of a school, a federal government institution. I think that's the only one in Nigeria till now, in Lagos, where they rehabilitate blind persons, especially blind persons who got blind in their late years, maybe from your late teens to your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We have them right there in the school. People who were in their 60s, who were in their 50s and were blind. And so that school majorly was to teach us how to be independent, was to orientate us, to also be a part, to see ourselves as a part of the society. So that greatly helped. And the fact that I also saw fellow blind persons also helped, because before I got blind, the only blind people I knew were those beggars. You find them on rail lines, find them in car parks. Those were the only blind persons I knew. So to also see that hundreds of persons are like me and they are scattered across the nation also helped my rehabilitation process. It made me realize that, okay, I wasn't alone. And so if these people are here to get help and they are finding help, it means that I also should be able to get the help I much needed. So, and it also has to do with the support you get from home was also something that helped my rehabilitation process. So I had a mother who was concerned. I had friends who were eager to see me back on my feet. And so all of those things helped the rehabilitation process for me.
I was very young. Like I told you, I had a disability at an infant stage. So in that infant stage, all what they did then was normal physical therapy of exercise, which for a while it was done and stopped. Then later on, I went to a home where they take care of children. Then from the home, it was turned into an inclusive school where children with disabilities stay. So the teachers there, the guardians there, they do physical therapy, like in the morning you do exercise with your legs, they'll give you calipers to use, crutches, and all of that to see how you can be stable and be able to walk. So all of this take like 2-3 years time during my childhood as a child, a toddler, from toddler like child. So I just had to be moving up and down with crutches. That was what really happened.
Thank you.
So with respect to my own rehabilitation process, I had a disability as a young adult. After surgery, I had to come back to Nigeria, and part of the information was that I would be able to get rehabilitation. But I soon found out that the highest level of rehabilitation that I was offered or I heard about was more orthopedic. When you consider rehabilitation, what it does is that apart from trying to restore function, it's supposed to help a person to get to of independent living that individual can attain. And that is why rehabilitation is person-centered. It is not disability-centered, it is person-centered. So a client walks in and then you work with the person to draw up that person's rehabilitation program. So coming back to my story, I found out really quickly that what was available was more of the orthopedic rehabilitation, where you are fitted with calipers, knee, ankle, foot orthoses, scaffolds, and then you learn to do standing. And then if you're able, you can move a bit. And that was not all or enough. So soon after I returned, I also engaged a physiotherapist, and her own plan was muscle strengthening. Like I said, disability or rehabilitation is very, very person specific. So she focused on muscle strengthening. So she used some gadgets for my muscles to contract and contract and retract muscle movement to build some bulk and reduce the rate of atrophy. I also had a situation where I had to do many joint exercises Achilles from falling. So instead of having drop foot, so I was given some exercises all at the beginning of the process. But soon after, I soon realized that a lot, unfortunately, that it was mainly physical therapy and purely physiotherapy, and had a lot to do that was offered that had centered around the orthopedic work. So I had to go online, just like Afion, to get information that will enable me to do some spinal and neurological rehabilitation, because I actually needed that. When you have spinal cord injury, you have levels of incontinence, which no matter how they bulk the muscle, it doesn't help. So I had to do we had to go online and find out a lot as regards an area that you would refer to as probably occupational therapy, a part of rehabilitation. So that happened purely on my own and all that, and getting information. That is why the information I have is something that I'm always willing to share, because I know that when it comes to spinal rehabilitation, we do not have it per se. So that's a bit about my journey when it comes to rehabilitation. Of course, later as I went on, I had some complications. I had sores, pressure sores, and that led me to have a series of surgeries. And when I traveled for those surgeries, because for some reason, I kept having failed surgeries for that. So when I had an opportunity to go to South Africa, I went straight to a rehabilitation center to ask many questions, and I got a few answers, and most of the answers were answers that I had figured out online. So this is in a nutshell has been the rehabilitation journey, just like I feel a lot of self-rehabilitation. Thank you.
When I started, my disability started as a young child. I started at the age of 6 months. So I was in the hospital for like a year and a half. And when I came back, I started my physio. I stopped physiotherapy at the age of 10. I started physiotherapy at the age of 10. And when I stopped physiotherapy at the age of 10, because I had to go to school, it changed my way of movement for a while. So after that, I started back 2019. I started back 2019 and I stopped again 2020 because of COVID. And after that, I started again like 6 months ago. Was it 5 months ago? Or 4 months ago? I don't remember. Was it 4 months ago? 3 months ago, I think. I started like 3 months ago, and that's my rehabilitation journey. I've not had bed sores, but I have had to been able to move my hands more since I started my physio back, and I've been able to sit more because I was crappy at sitting. I had a very bad back spinal cord issue where sitting is not exactly my best friend. I have been able to do a whole lot more things than I normally can do. So yeah, that's my rehabilitation story. Thank you.
Rehabilitation is not just only for physiotherapists. It's for everyone. Like I don't know, like Friki said, it's patients, like it's the person-centered. It's for everyone. It's for the rehabilitated people that are involved in rehabilitation, physiotherapists, occupational therapists, health educators, even the relatives, the caregivers around. It's for everyone. So another form of rehabilitation is, like they said, checking online, but still checking online you can't really take in all the knowledge you get online, because there are some that I can just sit down and just type anything that I feel like and just put it online. It's just like to guide one person. You can check online and also like involve either your rehabilitator, your rehabilitation team, to check whether what you are doing is right or wrong. Then I can't really say that this is different, like another way you can check for your rehabilitation from, like get different from rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is your surrounding, everything around you. Then you can arrange your surroundings to adjust it to the way you want it to be, change settings, change everything. Like, because whenever disability occurs, there's always a change in a lot of things. Like Oluwatomisi said, she had like change the way she reads now, learn ABC from the start. So it's better to actually change things around, which I said involves everyone around the person involved. Involves everyone.
Christina, could you please tell us the benefits of rehabilitation?
Okay.
What are the benefits of rehabilitation?
Okay, the benefits of rehabilitation, improves function, reintegrate the person back to the community, reintegrate the person back to the occupation if the person is working, reintegrate the person back to the family, to everyone around. Then also improves mood, and reduces let's say depression, because sometimes disability sometimes comes with low self-esteem, low mood, and sometimes depression and all stuff like, and sometimes post-traumatic stress disorder. So all those things, rehabilitation actually improves the person out of it, takes the person out of all those psychological distress that comes with it. So it has a lot of benefits, and like I said, we integrate the person to the society, to the community, we integrate the person to the occupation. Okay, I think that's what I'll say. And also it improves function. It improves the muscle, like we said earlier, improves the muscle strength, improves what the person cannot do before. The person will like, okay, this is what I can now do now. We are being rehabilitated also, like say, remove stigma in the society, because after you have the person is already, the function is improved, the person is integrated to the society, and is also bold now, no low mood and everything. This because a lot of things that come with disability, that stigmatization comes with disability most times. So being rehabilitated into the community takes away the stigma. But why? Takes away the stigma because yes, the person is bold enough to come out, say that yes, I can do this. I can do this more than even the person that's not disabled. So those are the benefits of rehabilitation.
For me, the physical therapy, like has been said, improves function. It has helped me, when the accidents first happened, I was hospitalized for a long time. So the physical therapy, I lost muscle function, some parts were stiff, so I had to learn how to walk, how to sit. So it helped me to regain function, some of those, parts of my body. It also improved circulation. And but on the other hand, the self-rehabilitation I did, improved my mental health, having that sense of independence, knowing that I could do things for myself and not have to depend on others to do everything for me, improved my mental health. Knowing that I could take my bath, figuring out ways to do things, that ability to recreate new experiences, that helped me. For that one, I didn't have anybody to help me. You go online, you Google, yes, not everything you search for online will actually, but you will find useful tips, and then you can build on those tips, flesh them out, and come up with something that is targeted and tailored for you. Because when you get that information, you find out, okay, how do I do this in my own situation? How will this work for me? So that's what, and every day I just keep finding new ways of doing things that make it easier for me and help me to be more independent. So that's what rehabilitation has done for me. It has improved my mental health. It has improved my physical and physiological function, circulation and all that. And, with exercise and some other things, it has helped me to reduce the impact of my disability and make it easier for me to cope.
It really improved because before the rehabilitation, I couldn't do anything. I was most like a vegetable. So with the help of physical therapy, it helps my muscles, as in my muscles could come back and my bones could get stronger. It was after the rehabilitation that I could be able to crawl. And that was at age 4. So could you imagine a child starting life at age 4? So it gives me back that stability, bones getting stronger. And towards that age 4 to like 5, they're using aids like crutches. First they're using caliper was almost like 10. So they're using caliper. So it was like every year of my life I was having the rehabilitation steadily. So it didn't stop at that age, but it was like continuity till like almost age 10. So it was different stages in my life. Once you have outgrown this one, when I started crawling, go to the next to start standing. I started using all those method to learn how to stand. And so every stage and every year in my life has different things I do so that I can have an independent life and also can also take care of my daily activities, take care of myself, like bathing, dressing my bed, clean where I stay. All of that was going on gradually. And through inside with the help of rehabilitation, it didn't just stop, but it was a continuity of my life till I could get to like age 15 where I could get ground. I could run, I could walk. Not really run, but move faster. With or without crutches. I could do all of that. So to me, it gives me confidence and stability. Thank you.
For me, the entire journey from having a disability, which is from the accident, and after surgery, it was important that rehabilitation happened. One of the first things that rehabilitation helped me to do was to learn how to sit again. The ability to be able to sit was through rehabilitation, because it was not just, oh, you had this accident, you've been bedridden for how many months, let's be going. There had to be a process. So I had to wear a lumbar corset. I had to sit at an inclined angle, slowly but surely, sit up straight, and then for a few minutes, all of that to learn how to sit. Now, the other benefit of rehabilitation, as opposed to physical therapy, and this came from the self-rehabilitation really, had to do with activities of daily living, like grooming and self-care of oneself. One of the things that I had said that I would never do is that one of the things I had said in my mind was, because in my family we're 6 and I'm the first. And at the time it happened, I had younger ones who were still at home. So one of the things that I was very clear on, because I had seen where a lot of persons with disabilities, maybe because they don't have rehabilitation, have a great level of dependency on a caregiver or on a family member But one of the things I had said in my mind was that as much as I can, I'm going to work to the highest and attain the highest level of independency that I can possibly get. So I was very ravenous for knowledge. And this online is not just about Google. I actually joined fora, different fora on spinal cord injury, persons around the world, where they were not afraid of talking about, the issues and how they manage incontinence and everything. It was amazing to have that information. It was not anywhere in this Nigeria. So what that did the benefit, it helped me to be able to take care of myself. So I have independence. I also learn transfers, because you must learn how to move from this surface to this surface. So I learned how to move from the chair to the bed. I learned how to move from the chair to the floor. I learned how to move from the floor back, everything, all with the aim of, as much as possible, independent living. So the benefits of rehabilitation, I'm using the word very liberally, because it was not just professional, there was a lot of self-work. And I'm emphasizing that for someone, that there's a lot of work you can do within yourself and with your peers. There's something about engaging with others who have gone through the process, who can give you tips on what you can do better. All these tend towards being rehabilitation. So when we think of rehabilitation, we should not just think of facility-based rehabilitation, but we take it further to think of things like community-based rehabilitation, which brings it even closer. So the benefits have been amazing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have had levels of rehabilitation to get myself to live independently to a great level.
Thank you very much. Number one, my rehabilitation helped restore my self-confidence. Having to see other people go about their lives, and I'm always in just one place. They leave me in the morning, come back in the afternoon or in the evening, and they are meeting me where they left me. And so when an opportunity to get rehabilitated came, I saw life differently. I saw that I could do those things. Even though it could be slow, it could be differently, but I could achieve those tasks with my disability. Another thing rehabilitation made me realize, or gave me as an advantage, was the fact that being an ambitious child, I wanted to go to school, I wanted to be proud of myself, I wanted to do so many community work and all of that. And so rehabilitation gave me the opportunity to learn how to read and write as a blind person. And so it helped me when I decided to further my studies. It helped me to read at my own convenience. I had that passion reignited to go to school. And so rehabilitation made that possible for me. I also learned how to use the computer during my rehabilitation as well. So it means that, regardless of the fact that I'll be using my own computer with the software, not a sighted person would type faster than I am, even with my disability. And so that was another thing rehabilitation made me, benefited me, because it made me be able to compete favorably, be able to achieve tasks, be able to, carry out functions effortlessly and effectively. Rehabilitation also increased my perspective about life. Okay, so like I said earlier, I've never been able to see, blind persons who are not beggars. Let me put it that way. And so the rehabilitation process for me made me see life from a different perspective. It made me see that there are 1,000,001 persons with disabilities out there who have got potentials. And so it changed that thing about me, thinking that maybe every person with disability is a beggar or has nothing to offer. Rehabilitation gave me that opportunity. Rehabilitation also kind of integrated me back into the society in case of mobility and independence. Okay, so the last time I stayed with a family around probably was when I newly finished my rehabilitation. But I was eager to stay on my own when I went to school, and they even volunteered to get me a maid or a caregiver. I didn't see the need, because rehabilitation has taught me those things. Rehabilitation has made my mobility quite easy, and then made me realize that I could be independent, on my own. And so that's another benefit I have derived from rehabilitation. So many social inclusion. Rehabilitation has made it possible that I could go to parties and not see myself as the odd person out because of my disability. Let me stop there. Thank you.
My own rehabilitation when I was younger helped me be able to be more calmer, because I was very active as a child. I was all over the place. So, and it gave me focus. And then when I stopped, I kept that focus until I was like 29, because my rehabilitation helped me for that long. I could sit up until I turned 29 on my own with a strong back and all. But I started declining after I had a few challenges. I was very ill and everything, so my spine started having issues. So another thing I have is I'm insomniac. I have hey, people help me. I hardly sleep at night. So one thing rehabilitation has helped me with right now recently is it's helped me sleep more. It's helped me be more rested, be more functional during the day. It has helped me to be able to focus more. I don't have to think too hard about what I need to write before I write it. It's helped me be able to sit for long hours. 2 months ago, I sat for 12 hours at a stretch from morning to like 7 p.m. I was on my seat from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 12 months ago, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have rehabilitation. Thank you. So now we have spoken about the benefits. Let's now talk about the challenges and hindrances that can hinder a woman with disability from getting rehabilitation.
One key hindrance is usually financial. Not everybody can afford to get formal rehabilitation, but it's necessary to have the help of a professional to help you handle some aspects of rehabilitation, or at least instruct you on how to go about it. So one key thing is usually, the financial constraint. And then another thing is the mindset. When the person does not, has not moved on, or, gotten over, the initial pain of loss, either loss of sight, loss of hearing, loss of mobility. So when that person has not come to a place of acceptance, the person will most likely not seek rehabilitation because they don't believe they are capable of anything more.
Okay, I have like two hindrances. Like in my own scenario, why there was this almost like just 10 years, the gap. Well, number one, the lack of information. My parents then didn't know where to take me. So from that infant stage to like age 4, you can see the gap. They didn't get the information on time. But the good thing is that the stage I had that polio was not just see a sensitive change where adjustments can be made. That's why I didn't have like serious or severe kind of disability. So from that age, maybe 6 months there about to like age 4, there could still be an adjustment. So lack of information was that gap. Then, and also even when we got to the place where I had to rehabilitate, because it's a home for children with disabilities, the resource person and the necessary should I say materials or things to be used were not there. So you could see from that age 4 to age 5, I started using calipers and good crutches from age 15. You could see the gap. So in that place where I was, we didn't have all of that. So just manually. So I was still there, and the home was built for inclusiveness as in children with disability, and the resources took time before it came, because that was even change of governance, or change of the people in charge of the place. So when these new people came, they had more of a easygoing resource or easygoing materials. So that's when I started using calipers and crutches and every other thing that made my life easier for rehabilitation. So resource material, if it's not there, human resource and even physical resource and information could hinder rehabilitation. Thank you.
Speaking of challenges, the challenges are many. One of them is the challenge of having the rehabilitation one needs. The services, the rehabilitation services in Nigeria are very limited. In fact, the average person thinks that only physiotherapy is rehabilitation. But you and I know that that is just an aspect, just to have this, pointed out by Christina and all of us speaking here, that physio is one aspect of rehabilitation. And so a major gap has come through government where rehabilitation services are not considered. Rehabilitation services are supposed to be offered primarily at tertiary level of healthcare. But you'll find that not all tertiary health centers, and that is the teaching hospitals and the likes, offer any form of rehabilitation. And most times it's limited. It could be only audio or visual or physiotherapy. So the services, the main challenge I see in our country today is the availability of the diversity of rehabilitation services that will indeed rehabilitate the individual to be fully functional, as much as possible, restored back into society to function at optimal level. So this challenge is something that government should look into. Primary healthcare is there, and then the secondary level, but at tertiary, rehabilitation services are key. In fact, there is a conversation at UN level that rehabilitation should not even be limited to just tertiary health facilities, but should be mainstream across the different levels of healthcare, that is affording universal healthcare. So it should come from primary to secondary to tertiary. Now, in Nigeria, because of some of these gaps, it was really advocated for that community-based rehabilitation is something that should come in really strongly. And that is what people like CBM had been advocating. And they had really good structures where, and community-based rehabilitation basically is what? They teach someone in the community to be able to provide so and so rehabilitation services, cutting across the different pillars of rehabilitation. But of course, these services have dwindled over the years. In fact, I met somebody in a conference and he told me that CBR is something that was supposed to turn around the face of rehabilitation. Why? Because it has done so in many countries. But it started well, but it has not been sustained well. Where you go to a community and they know exactly what to do when somebody has stroke, they know exactly what to do when a person is, that is what we're talking about. So the gaps when it comes to rehabilitation are too large and they're ignored. And we're saying that for health system strengthening, rehabilitation services in this country has to be considered as important and not just physiotherapy. So for me, this is a major challenge when it comes to system change. Finally, to add, a major challenge of rehabilitation has to do with assistive devices. So you have rehabilitate somebody, and Osaki has spoken to that, and then the person needs an assistant device, and the thing is so expensive. So and we know that for the person to have maybe mobility, or for the person to hear, the person needs hearing aid, or different, for where the assistive device will be so high, so that you now want that, so it now makes a mockery of the whole rehabilitation process. As Afio, there are some things that we need to cater for our needs. We have to be looking for it in different countries. Why? You'll be looking for this catheter, looking for this one up and down. You cannot find. And before you can find somebody who will send it down, very expensive. Healthcare is really expensive, I know. But that's because sometimes rehabilitation services are not considered. In fact, if you look at insurance, health insurance coverage, it's not even covered, it's not even covered, so we're just going far. So these are things that must be considered. They are big challenges. Disability is not cheap. So why not the government consider health insurance covering these services? All right, let me stop there. God bless us all.
Silence culture is also something that hinders rehabilitation in this part of the world, where one comes out with a disability and the family wants to keep it secret. nobody wants to talk about it. They do not even want to accept that, okay, this has happened. What's the way forward? And so that way, when you keep quiet about such things, the little information out there will not even get to you, because the information is so little to the point that you have to seek and you shall find. And so if you are not putting yourself out there to seek, you won't get it. And so I think silence culture amongst our people, our family members, friends, we love to attach so many things to disability. You're thinking of, maybe the family has sinned against God and God is punishing them. Maybe the mother had gone out in the middle of the night and then evil spirit has entered her womb and then she's giving back to the child with disability. So all of those things also hinders a person from getting or making the best out of a rehabilitation process. Another thing I would want to add to all of this is finances, like we've said, on the part of, the government not putting out enough resources. So an average family that has a child or has a teenager or has a youth who is with visual impairment, they can't even afford it. And the government, the federal government will tell you that they've asked the state government to subsidize it, to send in nominees, subsidize whatever it is. But the state government, are they actually doing that? How many number of states are actually subsidizing this rehabilitation process for their citizens and all of that? So it's a whole lot that the government needs to do to help, the state of rehabilitation in Nigeria. And we also must also help ourselves, come out, ask around, join groups, so that we can all get the process, we can all get the benefits that we actually want to get. Thank you.
We have a lot of challenges facing disability, from the systems thinking, from the community side, from the individual side, a lot of social determinants that are actually barriers to disability. So it's a thing that we have to start from. We can either start from the roots, upstream, or downstream. That can also start from the government side, our barriers. And it's also a multi-level thing, because you can even say we are just facing, let's talk about only the health system. We are just facing the health system. The other barriers are all this, there are a lot of buildings that are not even, there are a lot of buildings that are barriers to people with disability. They don't have ramps. There's no way you can even get up to any other place. Then the stigmatization is there in the society. The society inclusion is really poor because of the stigmatization. That's also a barrier and challenge. But that systems thinking part is it's a big thing. We start from service delivery, quality of care, and the financing, insurance, and everything. But it's really a big thing in Nigeria, and it's a really big barrier. And the finances is we don't have a lot of insurance covering people with disability. Even normal average Nigerian doesn't even have an insurance covering their health. So it's a big thing, it's a very big barrier to rehabilitation. Really a big barrier to rehabilitation. So it's if we start saying this is an hindrance, it's a big thing, because if we start comparing Nigeria to other developing countries, because seriously, Nigeria, the developing country, is even like a low and middle income country, and it's really affecting us. And we have to actually look at WHO universal health coverage. It brings a lot of achieving health for all, for everybody. So it's actually a big barrier for us in Nigeria, because we are not actually attaining that UHC. So it's an hindrance to rehabilitation. So that's what I can say for now.
Thank you. Wow. We have been having this wonderful topic that has been going on for quite a while, and I hope it has helped somebody here. So I'd like to say thank you, ladies, for coming for this topic. And I'd like to thank our physiotherapist, Mrs. Christiana, for gracing this topic for us and helping us expatiate on this topic. Thank you, Miss Christiana Ajayi, for this wonderful, for coming to our program. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like everybody to unmute themselves and say bye-bye.
Bye, people. Bye.
Bye.